in my phone.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno. Love him, hate him, or indifferent, he is back tonight. De'Aaron Fox returns to the Golden One Center. Doug Christie has already spoken to the media before the game. Warm-ups are about to get underway. I can confirm for you that the tribute video for De'Aaron will air at the end of the first quarter. So a lot to look forward tonight. A big game, no doubt, for the standings, but maybe a bigger game for this fan base's heart than we're underestimating or estimating. Looking forward to getting into it with all of you. I'm going to lay out. I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to show you some numbers, and I'm going to let you take the show over. This is your show. This was your guy. And yes, there are other guys on the Spurs that we need to respect and worry about. Harrison Barnes. Can't forget about Steph Castle as well. So we'll get all into it. Call the show if you would like. Hit the link that is in the chat. You can scan the QR code. And we've got a full night coming at you right here on If You Don't Like That. As I don't have the video ready. If you don't like that.
Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you like that, turn away now.
What do you guys want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about, Sacktown? We've got about 45 minutes to get you ready for the Kings and the Spurs. Ryan and Sacktown with you, starting you off on a full night of basketball and coverage here on the channel. Halftime, Jerry Reynolds joins us. We'll talk about the first half. Hopefully a good showing for this Kings team. Like I said, got to get this one. Got to get this one, both in the standings and I think emotionally for this fan base as well. Post-game, don't forget about it. All of you have been killing it as of late. If you are thinking about calling the show and have never done it, give it a try. It has worked out well for a lot of people so far. It has been an extremely busy day here in the world of the Kings. I am not going to hammer you over the head with everything that you already know, but I am going to hit some of the highlights and things that you need to know heading into this one. Sam Amick dropped an incredible article in The Athletic today that gave some more detail into the structure, or shall I say lack of structure, within the organization and reasoning behind De'Aaron's choice to possibly move on as he has to San Antonio. ESPN also with an article. Anthony Slater has been all over the story. So that's about where it stands. We can talk more about that on the post-game show. In fact, if you've been on this channel for any length of time, Grant and I were just talking the other night about Vivek, and we're talking about who's in his ear. 3 of the 4 names that were in the article that Sam Amick wrote, Grant said on this show. So pretty good stuff there. Now, as for today, as I said, busy one. Luke Laux is going to be named the head coach of the Florida State Seminoles. He is headed back to his alma mater. Congratulations to him. Why the heck not? A very, very cool moment and good move for him. I think it's a great move. The team gave him some love at the end of shoot-around. So Luke Laux will be headed to coach the Florida State Seminoles. You know, Carmichael Dave out there is probably going to be happy about that as well. But going back to his alma mater, love to see it. We've already talked a little bit about De'Aaron and his return. Already in the building, showing some love to some legends. Him, Vlade Divac hooking up for a few minutes. A lot of love on the floor so far during the player warmups before they do their team warmups. Definitely a festive atmosphere. Talked to a few people that are down there at the G1C. Feels like a playoff game. Feels like that type of kind of emotion setting. So looking forward to it. If you're at the game, if you're going to the game, holler at us. As you know, no Domantas Sabonis tonight, and also no Malik Monk tonight in this one. Malik diagnosed with the right toe sprain. Now, as I always say, the Kings seem to get lucky in situations that I don't like injury luck. Jalen Brunson, who comes in here, his Knicks come in here Monday night, rolled his ankle really bad last night against Los Angeles in overtime. Highly unlikely that Brunson will be playing in that one. The Kings have a game before that with the Clippers, but definitely notable and something that we should hit on. And DeMar DeRozan fined $25,000 for his comments about the officiating. I have a problem with it. I have a big problem with it. In fact, let's go back. Something that Doug Christie has preached since taking over as head coach is let me handle the officials. I want you guys to play. I don't want you talking to the refs. I don't want you getting teed up. That's my job to handle it. Doug Christie was asked after the game about the officiating, which definitely the Kings did not get a good whistle. Here's what Doug had to say.
Yeah.
Doug, I'm not trying to get you fined or anything, so I won't ask you to speak on the free throws themselves directly. But maybe in the flow of the game, when you're maybe not getting the whistle that maybe you'd expect, how do you keep the guys engaged and focused on the task at hand there on the offense?
Because my job is to deal with the refs and their job is to hoop. And that's what I expect out of them. And they know this. So when they start talking to the refs and barking at the refs, I'm like, yo, chill that out. We don't do that. We here to hoop. Let me deal with them, and I will state our case and live to fight another day. I want their minds focused on the game plan. And for the most part, we did that. There was a little bit where we got, like I said, a little.
That was about as bad of a whistle as you're going to see on the road usually. And the problem that I have is that should have been Doug saying a few things about the officiating at the podium. If that's what you are preaching to your team, you got to follow through with the actions. Get teed up during the game. Do something more than remind everybody and remind your team that I'll handle it, because you didn't handle it. DeMar DeRozan ultimately said something, fined $25,000. So, Doug, I think you should pay that fine. That's what I think. So we're getting you ready for this one. Like I said, we're taking your calls all pregame show long. The tribute to De'Aaron, again, will be at the end of the first quarter. Joey kicking us off tonight. What's up, Joey?
Hey, Ryan. How you doing?
Good. Welcome in. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, two things. One thing about the Denver game, then one thing about tonight, if I can touch on Denver real quick.
Please do.
Yeah, it's like a broader point about the NBA, but it felt like there were a lot of replays during that game. And from my point of view, I don't know how much that really adds overall to the viewing experience of the game. And like, if I'm a fan of a team who does challenge a play, I don't know how much that really changes the game, like in the second quarter, whether or not the possession goes one way or the other in the second quarter. I don't know if it's worth taking like 5 minutes out for that.
Yeah, I hear you, Joey. I think that there's other ways where they can make up for that time. I mean, technically every possession matters. A missed free throw in the first quarter is no different than a missed free throw in the fourth quarter. They're
Right.
worth a point. So there's different reasons why coaches use them at certain times. Maybe a player's in foul trouble. The NBA does need to find a way to speed it up a little bit. But I will say too, that if we're going to complain about, and I'm not just calling you out here, I'm not calling you out at all, but if fans are going to complain about challenges slowing the game up, then we also need to acknowledge the amount of time that is wasted with players arguing their points to the officials
Yeah.
and the officials holding the game up.
No, for sure. I totally agree with that. And like, you know, if you have a star player who, whether or not they get a third or fourth foul, that's a really big deal too, even if it happens in the second quarter, right? But I'm just talking about like overall from a viewing standpoint. And then one more thing about that too.
Yeah.
And I want to get your opinion on it too. I don't love when you have the coach looking towards his bench and you have a coach on the iPad like watching it right after. There's something about that I don't love. You know what I mean about that? I don't like the fact that they're watching the replay on the iPad and then giving the head coach the nod to challenge. I don't know. It doesn't really look good for me when I see that, but that's only my opinion on that. But for tonight, I think Keon's going to be a very important player tonight because if you look at a lot of the starting lineup without Malik and Sabonis, a lot of the guys actually didn't really play with De'Aaron, right? You have 3 of the 5 weren't even on the team before the deadline, right? I think you have Levine. No, 2 of the 5. Levine and Valanciunas weren't on the team with De'Aaron. But yeah, but I don't know. I kind of feel like Keon will be a really important player tonight defensively. And then I was looking forward to like the Malik and De'Aaron kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a rivalry, but like that kind of back and forth at the guard position. But hopefully Keon can kind of like win those battles, you know, the old teammate kind of battles, if it means anything. But
yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks for kicking us off. Good job, Joey.
Thank you, Ryan. Have a good one.
Well done. Really quick to Joey's question or comment about looking back at the coach with the iPad. Here's the deal. Every coach, for the most part, if you think that every coach is watching where the ball is at, you're wrong. Every coach is watching something different, and that includes the head coach. The head coach is kind of watching everything, but your staff is focused in on a certain aspect of the defense or a certain matchup, a certain part of the floor. So it's not uncommon for a head coach to maybe not be directly looking at the play in question or looking at the ball where the play happens, or sometimes the play happens away from the ball. And so the iPad, it's no different than any other sport where you're looking really quick for the replay. I get it. I don't have a problem with it, but I understand how that comes off. Who is my favorite Kings player? You know, it's close. I love Keegs. I love everything about Keegs, but it's probably, I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to give you a Stockton King and a Sacramento King. Probably Keon Ellis, because his story is so much like mine in my journey through sports. So I just love Keon. When you love defense like he does, it's not something that's learned. It's something that's in your DNA. So Keon probably on the Kings, and on the Stockton Kings, definitely Mason Jones. Love Mace, love his energy, incredible dude, great family, love his story. So those would be my 2. Emotion will run high tonight. Kings got to win. Yep, they do. Again, I've kind of said, actually not kind of, I have said that 4 of the 5 next games are more important than any game the Kings play on their longest homestand of the second half of the season in March. Because you got tonight, which I think I don't need to explain why tonight is important. But then you've got 3 games against teams that you are in direct competition for when it comes to the playoffs and the rankings. You've got the Clippers, you've got the Golden State Warriors. That one comes with a tiebreaker. You got to make sure that you get that tiebreaker. And then also you've got the Phoenix Suns, who I know are not very good and inconsistent, but they've got Devin Booker, they've got Kevin Durant, and I hate to remind you, last year they beat you twice down the stretch, and they were just as big of a reason that the Kings were not in the playoffs as Dallas was. So I think those games definitely more important than the powerhouses that are coming in. Here was Doug Christie earlier tonight, taking the podium before the game.
His legacy here. I think Foxy's legacy is one of the greatest players that's played in the Sacramento Kings uniform. I mean, I look like take off the hat and look outside of this. When I met him when he first came here, to watching him play, to having conversations with him, to watching him grow into an all-star, like super proud of and for him and all that. It's, like I said, it's part of the process that when you are someplace, especially for, like, he was here for a second, and like there's a lot of love and respect that goes into that. But when you rip a scab off, there's a lot of pain that goes with that too. And I think that both sides have to understand that. And I know our fans, and I know what to respect out of our fans, and I love them. So, and I'm a ride with him. Fox knows me, and he knows how I get down. Love him once the ball is not thrown up. But when it's thrown up, we got to get at it.
So, Tony, I disagree personally. I don't think there's any statement that can be made tonight outside of winning and outside of beating De'Aaron. It's the Spurs. I don't think they're going to be in the mix for the play-in. I just don't think it's a statement game. It's a game you have to take care of your business. If it wasn't De'Aaron coming back to Sacramento, this would be one of those games where it's a no-brainer. The Kings have to have it. No Wembanyama. By the way, Wemby did make the trip. That's a good sign for his health. Very scary situation with that blood clot. Very thankful that that was in his shoulder and not somewhere else, because that could have ended very different for him. But I don't see what the bigger statement is. Now, if you want to talk to me about blowing out the Warriors, blowing out the Clippers, blowing out the Suns, then I think we're talking about something different. Jay, what's up tonight, buddy?
What is going on, my man Ryno?
You ready to go?
I am. Where you traveled? Like, where have you been?
You know, I'm taking some different. I am always looking to grow the show and also grow myself professionally. And I have been exploring some other opportunities, and in the midst of that process, so that's what I'm doing.
Are you like this sounds like you're looking for like a commentator job or something like that?
No, not commentator.
Can you at least say, like, are you in California?
Yes, I'm in California, and it's something within the basketball industry world. So
Okay,
yes.
yeah. I figured that's what you were, you know.
Yes.
That's good for you though. Good for you for
Thank
sure.
you.
I'm ready, but I kind of have to get off topic.
Oh, you're gonna take us off, as Jay always does. All right, buddy, go.
You're a Seahawks fan, right?
We're going there. Yeah.
Listen. In 2013, 2012, prime Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman. I don't know if Golden Tate was on the team back then, but I was a Seahawks fan.
Oh, you were?
I
were
love
12.
Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
Marshawn Lynch is my guy.
All right.
But I love the NBA, so I've been watching the NBA, and there was no reason for me to be a Seahawks fan anymore. Everything points to being a Raider fan because Pete Carroll,
Right.
Marshawn's from Oakland. He retired a Raider. There's a lot of reasons why. So I follow the Raiders off season, kind of like how I follow the Kings.
Okay.
I know you saw the news.
I did.
Okay, well, let's start off with news number one. So Tyler Lockett gets released.
Okay. Let's encapsulate it though, because I don't want to do 5 minutes on the Seahawks.
Okay. Tyler Lockett gets released. DK
Yep.
Metcalf requests a trade, and today, Geno Smith.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
As what do the Kings call, or what do Kings fans call the Kings now? Chicago West.
Oh Lord, the Las Vegas Seahawks.
Yeah, it's gonna be Seahawks. I guess it would be Southeast. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think DK doesn't fit with a defensive coach. Lockett, I understand why they're releasing him because of the money. I don't like it. And honestly, I don't think Geno was going to be the quarterback this year for the Seahawks anyways. I think they were going to be going to the draft or possibly looking to sign somebody. So I think it's very feasible that some of those guys end up there. There's no doubt about that.
I don't think DK ends up there now that you have Geno, but I would think Tyler Lockett would end up there. Just you don't have to give up any more draft compensation if you're the Raiders. I'm sure Tyler Lockett would love to play for Pete Carroll, and then also you have the Geno Smith connection. You already have some familiarity there, so they need a wide receiver 3. You know, they only have Jacoby Myers. They need a wide receiver 1 and 3, and so Tyler Lockett coming in to be your 3 would be pretty solid, I think. But to the Kings' point, I mean, it doesn't feel the same. You don't have Sabonis out there, and you don't have Monk out there. You know,
But it doesn't change anything for me. In fact, I feel a little bit more confident because the Kings, for being inconsistent, they consistently rally around the team and each other when they're down a guy or two,
oh
especially
no, no,
important.
no. I think the Kings are gonna win tonight. Like I don't. That's not the issue with the Kings. I think before the Fox or after the Fox trade, we have a better team overall. Like we have a better, more deep team. I'm not worried about them not playing and that affecting us.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this get back, this revenge doesn't feel the same
Oh
without
yeah, no, for
Sabonis
sure. You want to see Fox go at Sabonis.
and Monk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so. I don't know. Do they have a tribute video? I would assume they do.
They do. They're going to air it at the end of the first quarter.
I figured you have to, for business purposes. I know that there's a lot of people that don't want to. Some of my friends who are Kings fans don't want to, but you have to because other franchises already looked at what you've done with Mike Brown and how that went, and then you lose your star player, and if you couldn't even make the guy a tribute video, it's just not good for the future of this organization. I mean, you saw what Rich Paul said. He wanted, I think you should go to San Antonio. That's what he told Fox, and he ended up there.
Yeah.
So, and not only did he end up there, they didn't even give up anything really. So there's a lot of pool when it comes to players and agents. Unfortunately, that's how it is. I guess that's a pro and a con, you know. But yeah, tonight's game, I think we're going to do fine. I think we could get him by. Well, I don't know. Maybe Fox has a little animosity. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't think Fox is going. I mean, you got Keon too. Keon wants to make a statement like.
All I'm saying is don't forget about Steph Castle.
Yeah, I know, but
that's the one that I worry about. So
yeah, that's what I thought too. But we saw Fox go off for 60 against Utah, and then 50.
Everybody, we're talking Kings right now, y'all. Are you like 49 seconds delayed?
Yeah, it's delayed. Restream is like super super quick, and
Okay.
then YouTube is like 3 minutes behind, 2 minutes behind.
Okay. All right. We're talking Kings. Yeah, I think the Kings will roll, but we'll see. So appreciate you. Thanks for the call, Jay. Good stuff from Jay. All right. So let's actually hear from De'Aaron. De'Aaron was at shoot around with the Spurs earlier today. Here's what he had to say.
I'm good. I'm learning a whole new group, man. It's a lot. I mean, I expected a good basketball game.
How about from a crowd standpoint?
I mean, I saw the boos, so it is what it is.
What would you say to the Sacramento fans now that you're back in town and your message to them?
For people that I've come across already, it's been a lot of love, and I really appreciate that. Obviously, I was 19 years old when I got here, so I was welcomed with open arms. So I definitely appreciate the time that I had here.
It wasn't really like a proper goodbye. What do you want, maybe Kings fans, Sacramento, maybe even this organization to know?
I mean, that I was raised here. I turned from a really young man to a young man that's raising a family, and like I said, I appreciate the time that I had here. I had a lot of fun here, so it's definitely not something I take for granted.
What's the hardest part in dealing with all this?
The hardest part, moving. I mean, that
was De'Aaron earlier today. Keegan, by the way, was asked, do you really have a vote in this? I'm just wondering. Appreciate you, though, Horse. Oscar says 112, 107. Keegan was asked, should De'Aaron be booed, cheered? Obviously, he thinks he can be cheered. In a second, I'm going to tell you about what I think the Kings need to do offensively, defensively to secure this one. But first, he dropped off the line. I thought I was going to get a tongue lashing from a tequila'd up PK, but he's gone now and he's back to the chat. So let's talk about it. Look, here's what I think the Kings need to do defensively on De'Aaron Fox. I think it's pretty clear. What were teams doing to De'Aaron when that finger was dinged up? They were pressuring him. They were getting up in his business. He was having issues handling the ball. I think it's no different tonight. I think you are running a constant rotation of Keon Ellis, maybe a tiny dash of Markelle Fultz, definitely a lot of Keegan Murray, and a sprinkle, maybe a sprinkle of Jake LaRavia at De'Aaron Fox. Now, what you can't do, De'Aaron is not, in my opinion, somebody you are doubling. If the Kings come out and they're in the drop and they're doubling on De'Aaron, I'm going to have a massive problem with that. Overall, I think the zone defense is a good idea in spots, mixing it in. I know from experience with De'Aaron, he doesn't always recognize it when you go from man to defense. And I think you want to bait De'Aaron a little bit into that three-point shot tonight. He's not been shooting the three ball particularly well. I don't know. I don't think Devin Carter, I'm not feeling it. I don't know how aggressive De'Aaron's going to be. I'd love to post that to all of you. Do you expect him to be that hyper active, getting to the paint De'Aaron Fox? If so, he's going to be going against Valanciunas, and Valanciunas is not going to back down from any type of contact. But with that comes foul trouble. So you got to hope that the Kings try to stay vertical and out of foul trouble, including Keegan, because Keegan's length can bug De'Aaron, but we know De'Aaron's quickness as well. And, this team in San Antonio is not just De'Aaron Fox. I would argue De'Aaron Fox is a part. He is not the team there. You still got Harrison, who could very easily go off, still being steady. Steph Castle's the guy that I worry about. Don't forget about Vassell as well. Okay, I guess he took his shot, had his lime, had his salt, ate the worms. PK, what's up, man?
Hey, bad boy.
What's up, dude?
Hey, I want to tell every single fan, you know what? Do not overlook this game at all. Like, do not overlook this game. San Antonio Spurs is a really good team, and you better remember the fact that we're missing Monk, we're missing Sabonis, our top guys. So anything can happen, and we cannot lose stupid games. As Grant would say, we cannot lose these games. Right now, this is a big game for us because you have to realize that at the end of the season, every single win is going to count for Kings. Every game. No. I don't care if it's whoever we play.
PK, every game's going to count?
At the end of the game, the games that we're supposed to win.
Yes, I'm playing with you, buddy.
You're such a dick.
I'm
saying this is not an easy win.
I know.
There's a reason why the spread is only 6 points.
Bro.
Because we could drop this.
Bro, who said this is an easy win? I don't think anybody said that.
Well, you guys are talking about football.
Dude, okay, well, first off, I gave Jay a little bit of runway, but what did I say? I said I'm not going to do a 5-minute conversation about football. So sorry you were
talking about football.
Oh, PK. PK, come on, man.
Go PK. Kings, baby.
PK, I just did almost 2 hours and 45 minutes on the Kings. You're going to give me You're going to give me a hard time about 3 minutes?
Hey, by the way, you killed it. You're a fan favorite.
Appreciate you. I'm
going away.
All right. Peace. Always appreciate his efforts and what he adds to the equation. PK's right. look, this San Antonio team, they've won 4 of their last 6. They've got a negative net rating, negative 1.9, but in spots, they can put it up. They can play. Now, the one thing that is not going to help the Kings' case tonight is if they get ISO happy. What did I say the key was to the game in Denver? I said if we see a first half in Denver where the Kings have Keegan Murray with only 2 shots, Keon Ellis with only 3 shots, the Kings are going to be in trouble. In fact, the end of the first quarter in Denver was beautiful. I loved it. You had 4 shots for DeMar. You had 2 for Keegan. You had 4 for Valanciunas, 3 for Levine, 4 for Keon, 5, which we didn't really expect for LaRavia, and 3 for, or excuse me, 2 for Trey Lyles. Balanced basketball. And I get that DeMar in the third quarter had a decent quarter scoring wise, but he also had 15 shots at halftime. Before that, that balance went away. And I thought Jake LaRavia, for being new to the team, I loved how he stepped up to the podium and called it out. Here's what he had to say.
That was about 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think it just got stagnant a little bit, like you said. Wasn't really flowing like it was the first 3 quarters, and then had to shoot some like late shot clock shots. Had some turnovers there late that didn't really help. Yeah, we just kind of went away from what was working for us the first 3 quarters.
Are there any positives?
Bingo. So the Kings can't do that tonight. When you are down Malik Monk, hell, even if you have Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis, the Kings play at their best when they are sharing the ball. You've got to have 28 or more assists for this team to win. But when everybody's touching the ball, everybody feels more involved, both offensively and defensively. I just don't think you can underestimate that. So any type of ISO ball for an extended period of time is not going to be good for this team. Yeah, Jeff, 25 grand. And I think Doug Christie should pay it for him. Because Doug said he is the one that will handle the refs. That or he should have gotten teed up. Doug didn't really say much after the game, so I would pay that for DeMar. I would put my actions behind my words. PK had 15 shots before he called. Yeah, maybe he did. Good point. Kings can't play, or Kings can't be playing for the 8th seed. Put the foot on the pedal and let's effing go. Absolutely. Absolutely. You just got to realize tonight is going to be an emotional night, and with everything that dropped today, I don't know what to expect from this fan base. I was on earlier, definitely mixed opinions about whether to boo, whether to cheer. Okay, that we're talking about 90 seconds during a timeout. What's the fan base going to be like in the fourth quarter when De'Aaron Fox has the ball? What's it going to be like then? Is the fan base going to rally around this team? Is it going to be split? I highly doubt it will, but those questions are out there. So everything's up for grabs tonight. Nobody's doing the Kings any favors, and they've got to pull this off tonight because guys are not taking nights off and teams are not taking nights off. As we can see, the Grizzlies in a close one right now with the Dallas Mavericks. That matters to us, so checking that one out. The T-Wolves right now down 2 to the Heat. That would be big for the Kings. Can the Trailblazers beat the Thunder? Actually, you probably want the Thunder to win that one, 82-75. Later tonight, you got Suns Nuggets, rooting for the Nuggets in that one. And one more game that matters to us, the Knicks and the Clippers. So the Kings need to keep pace right now as we sit in the Western Conference. The Kings, no room for a let up, no room whatsoever. We'll bring the West up right now for you. As the Kings sit in the 9-hole, you can see not much is separated there. And with the schedule coming up, you have got to get everything you can. So I had somebody ask a question earlier today, and I'd love to get your input on this as a fan base, as people that are watching. How do you see the ball moving tonight? Do you see the Kings doing anything different to get the ball moving and distributing? Dirk put that question up on the earlier show, and I think it's a great one. And I think it's going to be one of those things that Doug Christie is going to have to navigate. And got to remember, do you think you're going to get the same type of offensive effort from Laravia tonight? How do you do more to get him in better spots? We will see as we get closer and closer to tip off. The guys are definitely on the floor warming up right now. De'Aaron is probably getting his first taste of the crowd. I'm guessing he will get a little bit more of an introduction than a normal visitor. But again, if you're just joining the pregame show, he will get a tribute video at the end of the first quarter. End of the first quarter. Personally, I would rather see a tribute video to this place, Bennett's American Cooking, one of my favorites here in Sacramento, 3 locations in the greater Sacramento area, Roseville, Rockland, also Houghton, Fair Oaks. Have you made your reservations for weekend brunch? If not, get to bennettsrestaurants.com. Weekend brunch 11 to 2 p.m. at all 3 locations. And way not too early to start making Mother's Day reservations. I would start doing those right now. That's what I would do if I were you. Get to the website, bennettsrestaurants.com. Happy hour 2 to 6. Also, go check out their weekly specials. Prime rib on the weekend. All good. Love the redfish. Love their prime cuts of seafood and steak. Big thanks to Brian, Margot, and the team at Bennett's for sponsoring tonight's pregame show here on If You Don't Like That. Jerry Reynolds, looking forward to getting his take on the first 24 minutes. Coming up at the half, Grant will be here as well. And the OG, the show, the post-game show with all of you after the game. We're thinking it's probably going to be a pretty big one. So get in early, start lining up for your phone calls. We love hearing from you first timers and even our regulars. Love you too. So come get in here after the game. We will be here for it. And again, there is a lot. We have not touched anything that has dropped today in terms of the organization, some of the articles that are out there. We will hit more of that on the post-game show. I know you've probably been beaten over the head with it at this point. I definitely hammered it home earlier tonight. So give me your final scores, because I'm going to end this one a little bit early. I want to send you out right on time so you can get a little bit of a taste for the atmosphere. It's one of those games. I would never usually send you out, but I know you're going to want to check that out. So give me your final scores right now. DeRozan going off tonight. I sure as heck hope so. But balanced. If the Kings win, I'll send Ryan $20, light the beam. Keep your $20, Wolf. I appreciate it. But go get a ticket to Stockton or go to a game. Save it. But I appreciate it. I just want to beam. I want the Kings to win this one. DeRozan is not friendly, and that's what I love about him. Yep. Again, if we're talking about guys that have played for both teams, DeMar DeRozan, he was a Spur for a very long time. People talking about Fox, the real revenge is Harrison Barnes. Yeah. But Harrison's been here a couple of times. Consummate professional. Great guy. Oscar, we're cooking tonight on the menu. Spurs. Dude, how would you even start to cook a Spur? I mean, I guess, like, Oscar, what are you using?
Some big shots.
Sorry, Doug. Oscar, what are you using to cut a Spur? Like, I don't think a fork and a knife are going to work for a Spur. And I'm not sure my GI doctor would recommend eating a Spur. That might not be very good. That don't make no sense. I get the point. Maybe a pressure cooker. Maybe that gets it done. Kings 122-109. Vinci 127-111. Put it in the book. All right. Let's take PK to bets. Flores 122, 109. Hey, look, enjoy this one tonight. Everybody's going to have a different reaction. That's okay. Be you. Enjoy it the way you want to enjoy it. Don't go along with the crowd. But it is one the Kings no doubt need to have. And we're looking forward to being here all night with you for coverage of the Kings and the Spurs, beginning, or I should say continuing, with Mr. Jerry Reynolds right here at halftime. De'Aaron Fox making his return to the G1C. Can the Kings pressure him? It's going to be a fun matchup, him and Keon. Looking forward to that a lot. Get on De'Aaron. Full court. Full court. I don't care if you're playing every guard on the bench. Play him full court all night long. Make him get to the paint. Mix in some zone. And don't let Steph Castle, even Harrison, Vassell, those guys get cooking. Just cannot happen. Break us down, coach.
That's big time shit. Together on three, y'all. 1, 2, 3.
Together. Go Kings. Light the damn beam.
Light the beam. Light it.
Jerry Reynolds, halftime right here. Big emotional night. Enjoy it. We'll see you in 24 minutes.